100 Days of Comics, day 6 through 9. So day 6 was quite a blur. These days have all blurred together due to the Comic-Con, Steel City Comic-Con. Day 6 was primarily a bust for drawing anything. I was getting ready for the show, and I had some personal stuff to do. And in the evening, I was able to see my kid's high school play, where he did a really bang-up job as Buster in Under the Big Top. So one little note before I get into the long episode today is that sometimes on the days when you can't draw, you have to remind yourself that a lot of the creation is happening in your mind. So going out and experiencing things in the real world, like a high school play, and the more life experiences you actually have or that you go through, it makes you a better storyteller in general. Even if you're having a hard time or going through some rough stuff, just hang in there. And if you're a storyteller, you need to absorb it all as a way to tell your story or tell another character's story. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Sometimes it takes a lot of shit to make good things grow. Eddie Vedder said that, by the way, of some other person probably. So yeah, Comic-Con. Steel City Comic-Con is held 3 times a year, and usually April, August, and December. It started out as a small comic show, or a toy and collectible show, kind of grew from there. There's a lot of conventions within the Pittsburgh area. I think we have about 7 now. So, I mean, it's really great for artists, local artists, because you don't have the overhead of the travel and other expenses. There's still some expenses, but you can pretty much, I mean, it's silly not to do the local shows anyways. Friday 10 to 8 p.m. I drew pretty much the entire day. Usually when I sit down to draw, or I get in there and I set up, I think I took some time lapse here of, hopefully, I think I took some time lapse here of the setup. Figured I'd put my GoPro to use and try to get like a real quick, my setup usually takes within a half an hour, I'd say. Mostly it's just popping down the artwork and organizing the original art. I don't have prints right now, so it's pretty much just kind of what art is gonna pop and make people come over. Much Friday, I drew all day. I drew some really cool pieces. I started off with a Venom versus Carnage fighting over a person's host body, so that was pretty cool, and I was feeling pretty good because usually the first couple drawings I'm not very confident, but that one kind of rocked. So from then on, I put that up, and this just was like a steady stream of requests. So there's only so many hours in a day at those shows, but it's you know, I try to fill in as much as I possibly can. I can't really remember off the top of my head how many drawings I did, but I definitely drew from nonstop. So I didn't have a helper with me this time. Usually Alicia will come with me, but I didn't have a helper this weekend, so I have to do what most convention tablers do and put up a "be right back" sign and run off to the bathroom real quick, so for pee breaks. But pretty much used to this life as far as how to run a table for the weekend. So it gets a little messy without Alicia there, and it's a little less organized for sure. Day 2 was a lot of the same. That would be April. That would have been 100 Days of Comics, day 7, or no, day 8. Day 8 was a lot of the same, a lot of cool commissions. Did a Ghost Rider piece. I stayed up overnight on Friday because there were a few that I just didn't have time to draw during the day. So I actually came home, ate some dinner, and got to the commissions for the night. I got through the Anakin versus Obi-Wan sketch, so that was kind of cool. So, and it was nice because the person that picked up that piece came in first thing in the morning and was super excited to see it. So this show, I actually tried to take some time lapse, and I actually tried to do more photos of the actual customers with their art, just because, to capture that joy. And that's another big thing I wanted to talk about real quick, was the I don't know, it's probably like a rush of some kind when you do something like that and you're nervous when you're drawing it, and you hand it to somebody and they just light up like a Christmas tree. people turn red and they smile. They just can't stop smiling. I had a Negan guy, a guy dressed as Negan, who was very imposing. He was very intimidating, very like somber. I don't know if he was just in character, but he told me that he never smiles, or he rarely smiles, and he cracked a grin when he saw his cover, and he came back a little bit later and was like, wow, I really like that, man, that's really awesome. And it just made his day. Like, you could just tell he was walking around pretty proud of it. Cover for a person that hates Superman really bad, and he's like, will you please, he's like, this isn't anything really dirty, but it's kind of gory, and if you don't want to do it, I totally understand. He was real apologetic, and he's like, it's Negan killing Superman with a kryptonite baseball bat. And I was like, that's kind of awesome. So I drew that, and that guy said to me again, he's like, man, I never smile. He just was like beaming. So that was cool. And of course I draw, it's funny the range I can go from drawing Negan murdering somebody with a baseball bat, which isn't very nice, to like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Kind of made me feel like my conversation the other day about fan art in general and how I was feeling about it. I forgot maybe a little bit of the joy that it brings to people, the regular customers too. I'm pretty humbled by that, because for one, I'm glad that they like my art, and number two, I'm glad that they come back and buy some more every show. They usually say that they've been thinking about a piece for me to do, and so they come to the next show wherever I'm at, and it's always good to see them. I know some of their names now, but I definitely know their faces, and I can kind of remember exactly what they ordered from like 3 shows ago, which is crazy. I don't know where in my brain that stuff gets stored, but there's one guy in particular. He comes for Star Wars Princess Leia covers. I've done quite a bit for him. He's met me at, he drove all the way to Sci-Fi Valley Con, because I had skipped Steel City Con last year in the spring. He came to Sci-Fi. I said, oh, cool, are you checking out the show? He said, no, I just knew you were going to be here, and I wanted to come here just specifically for you. And I was like, really? So that was nuts. And then this time he showed up at, he was there, and he's there every show. It's just amazing. So David Campbell is his name, and his father. It's just amazing to me that guy showed up again this con, and he was like, hey, and he came up, gave me the reference sketches or reference photos that he wanted, his 2 covers, and he says, just mail them to me whenever. He likes that process. I said, I was like, are you guys here to meet anybody? Are you gonna meet any celebrities or anything? And he's like, no, we just came directly for you. Like on Sunday, they come and they know I'm there. They pay to get in. They don't buy anything else, he said. They just come directly for me. And I'm like, you can get a hold of me online. Like, if you want something, you can talk to me. And he's like, no, they like doing it that way. It's kind of old school, analog, and it's fun. But yeah, I just really appreciate all those people. There's at least 7 to 10 people that come back that I recognize, and I know that they've gotten multiple things from me. I wonder what they're doing with all of my artwork. Do they have a shrine somewhere? Joe Goblik is a vendor and friend at Steel City a lot. He makes shadow boxes. He always orders something from me. It started with Green Lanterns, and then it's escalated up to like this past show, Samurai Jack versus Usagi Yojimbo. That was awesome. So yeah, I asked him, I'm like, what do you do with all this? And he told me he has a little office, and he has my art on the walls, and that's neat. I mean, that's kind of surreal that somebody's putting my stuff up in their house or their office. So final point, I guess, would be the gravitation towards fun looking comics, or I always say my style is cartoony or animated or whatever, but I mean, my influences are people like Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo, and I mean, I was a child kind of the 80s and early 90s, that comic boom going down when I was 14 years old, and waiting at the comic book store, Heroes for Hire in Palm Springs, California. We would wait outside for that door to open, just because we knew that they'd got the shipment of the new Spider-Man, and just looking at the detail in that stuff, it was just like amazing to me. And I thought, I'll never be able to do this. And now when I'm drawing things, I'm thinking, wow, you know, I can kind of recognize the more I draw, and that's another process thing, is the more you're drawing it, you're like, oh, that's how they did this, or oh, that's the move, like that's what they were doing here. So you're always learning, and you're always kind of moving along, and especially doing live drawing to that level and full color or whatever with markers. It's not the best artwork, but it's definitely really good sketch art. People love it, and there is a more back to my point was there is a pull towards more of that stuff. So people, I heard from several people, and I don't know if it's just because my style is cartoony, that they're kind of sick of all the realistic shaded, like someone took a photo and just redrew that photo, and there's no real style to it. It all kind of just blends. I kind of get that. I can kind of understand that. That artwork is still amazing to me, because I know how many hours it takes to replicate or do things like that. So props to those guys. But yeah, I don't know. I think that there's definitely a fan movement back to that fun, you know, level. Like if Marvel wanted to sell 2 million comic books again, just let Todd McFarlane go back on Spider-Man for a year and see how many comic books you sell, and then tell me that artists don't drive book sales. Because like, wow, I mean, that would be amazing. Or even Eric Larson, like let Eric Larson go back to Spider-Man for a bit and put all of his stuff in. I don't know if those guys still have it. I don't know. I still love them. And so yeah, thanks to everybody that came out to Steel City Con. My next show locally will be Three Rivers Comic Con, threeriverscon.com. That's a cool show too. They have like it's a smaller show, and it's more Comic Con, or it's more like comic artists, like old school Comic Con. Mark Wade's going to be there, and a couple bigger name comic book guests. And they also have a custom beer that they've brewed for Mark Wade. Last year it was Cry for Dawn. This year it's Mark Wade. So that's a lot of fun too. And those guys are always great. Just that crew. People love comics so much too. So yeah, I'll be there in May. And as far as my convention schedule goes, I'll be at Three Rivers Comic Con in May, end of May. Early June is the new horror show, so I'm going to try and do that, because it seems like it's a new thing, and people kind of like the way that I draw Freddy and Jason and stuff like that, like movie stuff and villains and stuff. And then from there, I do the Twin Lakes Art Show in July, and then back to Steel City in August. So I'm going to have about a show a month for a while now. I didn't envision doing that, but like I said, we're so lucky in the Pittsburgh area to have all these shows and why not do them? And also, it goes without saying that like I was so busy this weekend, I didn't get time to draw a New Year Mama comic or even write one. And I have some more commissions to do from after the show, so it's going to be a little bit juggling this week. As far as getting the video up, I might do like multiple day batches like this, just because it's more, if you're really interested in hearing me talk about this stuff or my opinions or my journey, then you can see it in chunks. So yeah, thanks for watching. Check the links. I'll link up some of the shows that I'm going to be going to in the Pittsburgh region. Yeah, thanks for watching.